What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you a 3-step process for getting free of any limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. So go ahead and isolate the belief that you have that you want to get free from. And really, this is just going to be a framework. You can use it for any belief, like I said. So isolate a belief that you have about yourself that you want to get free from, and then apply it to this process and see the magic work itself. Step 1. Know where it is that the belief has come from. So perhaps you have this belief that you're not going to be able to afford a home in your lifetime. You can go ahead and dig deep into yourself and say, where has that come from? And be honest with yourself. Maybe that belief came from the fact that you weren't very wealthy growing up and you weren't taught responsible financial skills. So maybe as it stands right now, you really don't have what it takes to be able to afford a home in today's modern real estate market. Now, that's because that's where you're at right now. That doesn't mean that you are someone who can't become adequate and capable enough financially to be able to purchase a home. Maybe it also comes from the fact that it's a story that gets perpetuated in the collective consciousness a lot, especially amongst young people. And it's also uncommon for people to be able to afford a home, like I said, especially amongst young people. So maybe there's nobody that you know that's buying a home, and everybody's just kind of talking about how the real estate market is crazy and everybody's renting. So that's feeding into this belief you have about never being able to afford a home, even if you were to adopt the skills necessary. So now that you have recognized where those beliefs come from, you can go ahead and move on to step 2. Now, step 1 is very important because it's sort of like a fertilizer for step 2. If step 2 is a plant, step 1 is sort of like healthy soil. So what step 2 is recognizing that belief isn't inherently true. Now, this may seem a little bit obvious. Obviously, if we're trying to get free from a belief, we have to recognize it as a belief. But I'm giving a whole step just for this process. We can't overlook this because we have to arrive at this as a genuine insight. We have to truly get this point that it's not inherently true. A belief is no different than a story. Like when we pick up a storybook and we read it and we're immersed in that story, we can go ahead and put the book down, and then we're not immersed in the story anymore. We're back in this world. It's the same thing with a belief. A belief is synonymous with the word story, actually, because you can put it down. You can drop it. You can leave it behind in the same way that you can with a novel. It's something that you don't have to carry around with you and assume that it's true. When you're watching a movie or when you're reading a book, I use that word immersed because if it's a good movie or a good book, you feel like you're right there in it. It feels like that's the real world. And then it kind of takes you a second to realize oh yeah, no, this is the real world. This was just like a really good movie that I'm very captivated by. It's the same thing with your belief. You are captivated by your belief. You're held captive by it. But it's not true. You actually have the key to open up the cell and be free. You're not captive anymore. If you just recognize that this is a story that I'm telling myself, and maybe other people are telling you too, but because in one way or another, you're telling yourself this story, and it's becoming a self-perpetuating prophecy. So with this example of I'm never going to be able to afford a home, if that is something that you are believing and you are buying into each and every day, you are never going to take the action steps required and necessary to be someone who can afford a home. So that brings us to step 3, which is taking the inverse of the belief that you have that you're trying to get free from and living as if that is the truth. So I mentioned that your beliefs become a self-fulfilling prophecy. This holds true for the positive beliefs. If we believe that we are somebody who can afford a home, and we go ahead and take the action steps necessary to be able to afford a home, that becomes our reality. And you hear this phrase all the time, probably, that your beliefs create your reality. And if you've never heard it, well, remember that one, because it's the truth. And it's said so much, but it's taken for granted. It's kind of seen only on the surface most of the time. There's so much depth to that. The fact that your beliefs create your reality. They become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we can kind of work backwards in taking the inverse of the belief that we're trying to get free from and taking the action steps required to fulfill the inverse. Because now we're going to be adopting this new belief and we're going to be maintaining the momentum of the action that we're taking into creating it in our reality. Now, step 3 is really the bread and butter here, but step 1 and 2 are like the cow and the dough. It's like the cow and the wheat. If you're going to make bread and butter, you need a cow and you need wheat. They lay the foundation for that bread and butter. So if you're moving right into step 3 without really working through step 1 and 2, you're going to have a lot of resistance to the action that you're taking because you're not going to have this newfound awareness of, oh, it really is just a belief. I know where it comes from. It's not something that's innately the truth. And that's why step 1 and 2 are very crucial. They're all equally as crucial. So take yourself through this 3-step process to get free from any limiting beliefs that you might have. And let me know how it goes. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.